So in today's lesson, we're gonna talk about verb patterns. In English, when we have two verbs, in a sentence and we use two verbs together, we need to follow some rules, okay? So we're gonna see today that some verbs are followed by the ing or the gerund, and some verbs are followed by the infinitive. In some cases, they are followed by both forms, gerund or infinitive, with no difference in meaning in most cases, but there are some special verbs that I'll show you today that with these verbs we have to be careful because the form that we use may change the meaning or the idea that we want to pass. So to start, let's take a look at the grammar box. In this grammar box, we have here some examples of the verb patterns that we have in English, okay? So as I was saying, when one verb follows another verb, is either a gerund or an ing form or an infinitive form with the preposition to. So for example, we have three possibilities. Verbs that will only take a gerund after them. So these verbs we have to memorize, okay? For example, one of these verbs is the verb can stand. After can stand, the next verb must be in the ing. For example, I can stand shopping. Okay, it's wrong to say I can't stand to shop. No, okay, after can stand, the next verb must be in the ing. Some verbs are followed by an infinitive with the preposition to. So, for example, I didn't expect to see the results. So, expect, it's one of these verbs. After expect, I need to use another verb in the infinitive. Some verbs are followed by an object and an infinitive form of another verb, okay? So for example, I told her to call me. Some verbs, they require an object, okay? For example, you tell something to someone. You send something to someone. Okay, so we need an object. And usually, if we use another verb, this verb will be an infinitive. So here we are going to see some examples. Last class, I asked you to listen a recording about Hannah. If you listened, probably you completed the sentences here according to what you heard. Here I have the verb patterns as you can see. For example, I didn't expect to see these results at all. We have the verb expect, which it follows by the infinitive to see. The verb can stand, which is followed by the ing, shopping. I can stand shopping. But let's try to find more examples of each of these patterns. For example, verb plus gerund. If we look at the sentences, we have, for example, I don't mind or don't mind. Okay, so don't mind doing. I don't mind doing housework, but it's not very interesting. So let's put don't mind here in this category. So don't mind. Okay, let's see if we can find more examples. I prefer to do less of that kind of thing. I'd prefer to do. Here we have the verb prefer, and after we have the infinitive to do. So prefer, it's a good example of this pattern. Prefer. So after the verb prefer, I use the infinitive. Prefer to watch, prefer to clean, whatever. So the infinitive. Let's see more. I enjoy reading and I always look forward to studying a new book. So as we can see, we have here two good examples of verbs that take the gerund after them. Enjoy and look forward to. So let's put these two verbs in the first pattern. So enjoy and look forward to. Okay, let's see if we can find more examples. Oh, the verb love. Okay, I love cooking and I try to prepare a healthy meal at least 4 nights a week. So the verb love, okay, we can use with the ing. We are gonna see that later. I can use love with the ing or with the infinitive, okay, and the meaning is the same. So I'm not gonna put here. So I don't want to confuse you here. Try. It's one of the verbs that I can use both forms, but with this one, we have a difference in meaning, so I'm not gonna write here. Another verb that we can use with the infinitive is the verb manage. Oh, and invite. Okay, so I often invite. This one, it's a verb with an object. I often invite friends over to have dinner. So friends is the object of the verb invite. So when you invite someone. Okay, so invite plus an object and the infinitive. So invite, it's in this pattern. Sorry about the noise because today we have a soccer match with Flamengo, I believe. So that's why the noise. I'm so sorry. But let's continue. I never manage to do. Okay, so manage, it's a good example a verb that I can use with the infinitive. Okay. Another verb is the verb see or sim, actually. Sim. It's another verb that I can use with the infinitive. I've I never seem to find the time. And that's one thing I'd like to change. So, like, it's another verb that I can use with the infinitive. Now, let's take a look at an example of verb. Then we have two possibilities. Okay, that means that I can use the infinitive or the gerund with a slight difference in meaning. Let's take a look at a good example here. I remember to call her. Here, when I use the verb remember with another verb in the infinitive, that means that I called her. Okay, I didn't forget to do that because it was my responsibility. Okay, but when I say I remember calling her, here the meaning is different. It means that I have a memory of this past action. I have the memory. I have a recollection of this event in the past. Okay, well, let's see more examples about this. Let's take a look at the grammar reference. I've prepared here more examples when it comes to this. But let's just recap. As we saw today, there are some verbs in English that they are followed by the ing, only the ing. So These verbs, it's very useful to try to memorize them, okay? For example, can stand, enjoy, don't mind, avoid, dislike, adore, okay? With these verbs, I need to use the ing after, okay? So, for example, I enjoy cooking, okay? I don't mind watching the same movie again, okay? I dislike waking up early, okay? I adore listening to music in the morning, okay? As you can see, after these verbs, I'm using another verb in the ing, okay? Oh, sorry, I don't mind watching the same movie again. I dislike waking up early. I adore listening to music in the morning. Some verbs, as we saw, they only take the infinitive. Examples of these verbs are agree, promise, want, choose, decide, forget, refuse, expect. Forget actually can take both forms, and I will explain that later, okay? It it doesn't take only the infinitive. And some verbs, they can take the pattern. Verb plus object or somebody, someone, plus the infinitive, okay? Like allow, help, want, remind, advise, invite, tell, okay? Just to give you some example. The teacher allowed us to use our cell phone in class, okay? So as you can see, the verb allowed, it's followed by the object, and after I'm using the infinitive, okay? Another example, my friend helped me to do my housework, okay? Help here it's followed by the object, me, and the infinitive, okay? With the verb do. Let me see more examples. Let's try and remind. My husband reminded me to buy milk, okay? My mother advised, advised, yes, advised me to quit my job. Not a good advice, but okay. So, as you can see, we have verbs that follow this pattern, okay? Now, talking about the verbs that are followed by both forms, okay? Let's start with the ones that we don't have any difference in meaning when we use. either the gerund or the infinitive, okay? Very common verbs, there are no difference. For example, the verb like, love, hate, okay? With these verbs, I can use the ing or the infinitive. For example, I can say, I love to eat chocolate. Or I can say, I love eating chocolate. Okay? It doesn't matter, it's the same. Okay? I love to eat chocolate. I love eating chocolate. The same. I like watching TV. Is the same as I like to watch TV. That's okay. No difference. Another example, hate. I hate listening to loud music. Or I hate to listen, okay? To loud music. It doesn't matter, okay? No difference. The other examples are begin, start, okay? Prefer, it's better to use with the infinitive, okay? But if you use with the ing, that's okay. We don't have difference in meaning. But some verbs are different, and these verbs we must remember. Now let me talk to you about the verbs. They are different, okay? So be careful with these verbs. A very good example is the verb stop, okay? Stop is different if I use the ing or the infinitive. Example, I've stopped smoking. When I say like this, I stopped smoking, that means that I gave up the habit. I don't do it anymore, okay? But when I say I stopped to smoke, that means that I was doing something else. I stopped what I was doing to have a cigarette, okay? To smoke. So that's different, okay? So keep that in mind when using the verb stop with another verb. Be careful with the idea that you want to pass. Now let's look at some other examples, okay? I've prepared here some examples to help you, okay? For example, the verb try. Try with the ing means that you are trying something as an experiment, okay? Especially as a possible solution to a problem, okay? You want to find out if it's gonna work or not. Basically, that's the idea. For example, have you tried turning the computer off and on again? Your computer is not working, so you wanna try, okay, to turn it off and turn it on again to see if it's gonna work or not. So use try with another verb in the ing, okay? That's one use, okay? When we use the ing, when we want to pass this idea of an experiment, okay, an attempt. But when we use the verb try with the infinitive, that means that something is difficult, but you are making an effort to do it. For example, I'm trying to learn Japanese, but it's very difficult. I'm making an effort to learn Japanese, okay? But it's difficult. So that's the idea when we use the verb try with the infinitive. Remember, as we saw before, okay, remember with the ing or the verb forget with the ing refer to having or not having a memory of something in the past. For example, I remember watching this film before, or I'll never forget meeting you for the first time in this cafe. Okay, so it refers to having or not having a memory of something in the past. Okay, but when we use remember or the verb forget with the preposition to, refers to recalling or not recalling that there is something we need to do before we do it. Okay? For example, please remember to buy some milk on the way home. I want to recall this, okay? That we need to do this before that actually you need to buy milk before you go home, okay? He forgot to lock the door when he went out, okay? So first you have to lock the door and then go. So here it's about recalling something, okay? Before do something else, okay? I hope you understood the use of these verbs, okay? But the best way is to practice. So as an exercise, I want you to try to do the exercise number 9. You're gonna choose which form is the best form to complete the sentences. Okay? I know verb patterns is difficult, okay? But we have to memorize them and there is no explanation for it. I'm so sorry, but we have to use them in the appropriate way. So try to do the exercise 9 and I'll try to give you more activities about this, okay? If you have any questions, feel free to send me a message and I'll help you out, okay? See you next time. Bye-bye.